It's been a few years since I talked about this. This is a modified Gen 1 of the 3D printed Hornady LnL case feeder. And this design, to my knowledge, was done by Jason out on Thingiverse. And if you recall my videos from a few years ago, he originally had a little catch here, and I ended up breaking this, and then he redesigned the unit so that it had this type of brace on the back. Much more strength was added to that, and that allowed pretty flawless operation. Over the years, I've put grease in here. That's worked reasonably well. This, you can actually see it. Maybe you can't. This is worn. There's probably so much gunk on that because over the years I've put tape here because sometimes this didn't align enough to drop the bullet. I've had issues with feeds here, and I've also had issues where I didn't pay attention and I jammed this plastic tube up enough into here to cause this to freeze up. These are all user error on my side for not paying attention. From a design perspective, this thing has been a godsend. There's not a bad thing I can say about this. Especially after working with the designer to improve that first generation with this back brace. And I like to put things on the back of my Hornady press, like the dual bins, because I was using that for case and bullet years before I got this, or my bullet, my PMag, my Mag P. I keep calling them PMags, Mag Ps. Pro Mag keeps stuck in my mind. Anyway, this is going to probably be a long series, maybe not long, but multiple videos, because I've been satisfied with this since 2018, and we're in the middle of 2021, so 3+ years. The only thing I've really done to it is I enhanced this bolt back here by putting a couple of pieces of Delrin. I will call them giant washers, thick washers for lack of a better term, so that added a little better rigidity to this. I did have to go through a couple sets of tubes to actually find the right size for 45 ACP cartridges, because the original ones that I had were too tight. And again, you'll see that in my old videos. But again, other than lots of wear and tear, because it's been used probably tens of thousands of times, lost track. So that's what I have here today, and let me move the camera over to what I want to talk about. I'll call this a version 4, Gen 4, whatever you want to call it. And it's basically the same thing. This I got last year. Very, very comparable to Jason's design, with some improvements or some changes. So improvements is, a relative term, a little more robust in certain areas in terms of how things were put together. Screws and glue, an exterior spring versus a spring down the center, and then being able to have a flywheel here, which on the original design was there was the spring was on the inside, so I'll call that a little smoother. Basically a very comparable, similar design, again with enhancements, screws, nuts and bolts in different places. The biggest change on the feeder, again, where a spring is and its adjustability, and then putting a roller into here instead of just plastic. So and then obviously the roller for rolling on this. Again, great improvements. The biggest, I think, improvement of this particular design, oh, that's some good juice, is this, and this is something I would not take advantage of, but I think it's an excellent addition for folks who load, excuse me, multiple calibers on their lock and loads. So 2, 2, 3, and the way this works is you just rotate. So whereas my original design is 45-ish, and I could probably do 9mm in there as well, or 2, 2, 3 if I adjusted things. But what makes, again, this so different is the ability natively 8mm, 30-06, 45, 9mm, 357, 30 caliber, 223. I mean, that's a lot. And you know, the designer Bart on this one, and for those of you who want to buy this, if you look at this video on my channel, you'll see all the information to contact the designer. Much more robust than the original, and you know, again, how this, not only does it lock in, but then you have this particular nut going into, or this bolt going into that nut. So you've got some extreme rigidness there. Excuse me, got something caught in my throat. Again, eliminates the well, pro and con. The pro, you don't have the clear tubes to deal with anymore in any part of this except for feeding. The con being, you know, being able to see something upside down, but you'll catch it at some point when it's on your shell plate. So I thought this was a great evolution of the 1.0, and this, I've been so lazy, partly because the original design has worked so flawlessly that excuse me, I haven't had a need to put this on, but I have 2 lock and loads, so this will go on my second lock and load. But this is not what the video is about, but I wanted to highlight where some of the designs are at this point in time, because I have a box. We have a box, and I've been waiting on this box for a few weeks, so that's one of the reasons why I loaned my camera out, because I didn't think this would come as fast as it did. So I've had it for a few days, and it's been killing me because I have not I have not done an unboxing. But this comes from our friends at Unique Parts in Perth, Australia. And what makes this a little bit different, I'm going to say a lot of bit different, is I stumbled on Unique Parts, a YouTube from Unique Parts, and you know, they just had an amazing array. Jack, the owner, the designer, and if you look at what they have to offer for the lock and load space, case feeding, bullet feeding, adapters, reloading data recorder, powder type recorder. For, again, for people who are just OCD like me, this is just right up my alley. Shell plate holders, spare case tray, front bullet tray, a strong mount. He offers a case feeder as well, which you can see here. But when you look at everything Jack and Unique Parts has done to a lock and load press, and I'm a big fan of mechanical solutions. This is pure mechanical with a lot of 3D printing, a lot of very, very precision 3D printing. Not that other 3D printing isn't, but when you look at what he's done and how he's done it, very, very cool stuff. So I watched a few of his videos and his evolution of his case feeder. So he had a version 1.0. So he essentially took, you know, the same, let me undo this, the same design, he took the same design and kind of ran with it. And when you look at it, a little more radical in terms of its cutouts, so both for weight and strength, weight reduction and strength, rigidity. And when you look at what he had done, still a clear tube here, but he had also put in a recessed lip so that there was no way for the tube to pop up. And this is also removable. Again, if you watch some of his videos on his version 1, 2, and his current, you'll see that very, very modular, I guess is the word I'm looking for, in terms of his approach. Again, taking a design that's been in the open source space for 3D printing for a number of years, and as everyone else has done kind of their own thing, like a rotating head for a multi-caliber solution, Jack and Unique Parts offer a very comparable approach, but not with a rotating head. And one of the primary differences in his approach is with this steel tube / column that he uses, that's very much like, Hornady. When you buy the Hornady ammo plant, the ammo plant has, that tube that holds up the case feeder. So he took a very similar approach and built off that. So that tube is its backbone to give everything strength, rigidity, and the ability to hold everything up. So I reached out to Jack and I said, hey Jack, I like what you've done. I have some ideas because I like to mount things on the back of my Hornady press, like the inline fab dual bins, which technically, do I need that anymore? No, I don't. But call it legacy and liking to have certain things. So I asked him, and he has a very similar. This design, this version 1.0, was a single tube, so there was no rotational 4 or 5 or whatever the magic number was for additional tubes. So when you look at the original case feeder, and then what he had done subsequently with a very similar to this design in terms of multiple tubes sitting on top of the case feeder. So, but it still used that original steel tube, very long steel tube that mounted to the back of the press where I mount my inline fabrication components. So I reached out to Jack and I said, hey Jack, would it be possible for you to design something very similar to this, but not have that steel pole where it is today? And he then came up with what I would call the next set of versions. And he's done some pretty amazing stuff in terms of weight reduction and taking the design to an entirely new level. If you watch some of his videos and you see why he created this channel and took away all of this filament because of the friction. So they essentially just has that single channel, as opposed to, again, even with, and he has the ball bearings as well in these places. But, and again, this is not bashing any design. This is just Jack's different design, that when you look at what this touches, this is touching all of this plastic. So in his design, his modified design, it's touching much less of that plastic, a lot less friction. And again, enhanced design in terms of, if you were to compare, you can see this design compared to that design, how different the two of them are. And what he's done with this steel pole, instead of having it sit in back of this to be the backbone of this particular set of foundation solution, he's moved it off to the side and he's cut it down so that where this solution relies on, this for its strength, which I don't think is going to be a problem, hasn't been for me for years, Jack is now using this pole and things lock onto that pole. So your case feeder will have an adapter that, in order to hold it steady, locks onto the pole. Whereas today, my 4 tubes just kind of blow in the wind a little bit. Again, not a bad thing, but if you were to knock it a little hard, you would knock it down. So Jack did some design work, and he sent me this package, which we will now do an unboxing of. That is his version, his latest version of a comparable solution to the current case feeders, the version 4-ish case feeders that are out there in the public domain today. So let me go ahead and bring that box over. Here's the box. I'm not sure the best way to open it, so I'm going to attack one end. And the extent of today's video will end with the unboxing of this, because I will be spending a considerable amount of time installing, mounting, and getting this this solution to work. So great packing, because coming from Australia, one never knows if custom will or won't open something. And this is probably not the best way to open it, but I figured this was a safest way to open it. So there's what it's going to look like. And what's funny is I've had stuff come from a couple cities over, and the boxes are more damaged than this, which is coming from, you know, many thousands of miles away. So I'm trying to be very cautious with anything that's kind of stuck. Let me see if what else is in here. Let me get rid of some of the paper. And I'll look at the paper later and see what's on sale in Australia. Again, going through all the paper packing, layer by layer, make sure I'm not missing anything. And a bag of parts. So I have to say that I'm going to bet that Jack has as much OCD as I do, because after watching his channel and his attention to detail, just right on the money. Okay, so there is the case feeding tray, very similar to the Lee tray. Some components. Oh, I know what this is. Oh, okay, Jack. That's a big thank you. So let me step over. Where do I have one that's right in front of me? Okay, so for years, I've used a bin catch on my bin. And Jack, again, to show you the attention to detail that that he has, that is just, again, too cool. That's a nice touch. And again, actually gives you more room. And for anyone who does, I dump my finished rounds in another bin, you've got that lip for that. So that was cool. That was a nice surprise. Thank you, Jack. Good stuff. And the red is right on the money. You can see the difference in the reds. This is right on the money for, I'll call that Hornady red. Okay, so I'm gonna guess this is some tube. Okay, this, I take it back. I don't think it's the tube. I think it's the case. Very robust. Oh, wow. That is heavy duty. Wow. That is really heavy duty. Oh, that looks like, I think he said 10 mil. Oh, that is not... That is completely different. So this is a 45 long Colt. So, yep, that will fit just fine. Same width as a 45 ACP. That is phenomenal. Oh yeah, that is very, loving the design elements. That is, that's a work of art. All right, we will throw that off to the side. So I told Jack I would be buying or ordering all in Hornady red. Okay, I cannot do this left-handed, so I will not do it now. But that would go on top, and that would feed your... That is really heavy duty. That's even more heavier duty than the plastic on the Mag Ps. That's really, really nice. Yeah, can't say enough about that. That is, that's, oh wow, that's cool too. Way solid. Wonder if this, I don't know if that adjusts up or not. This one does. I don't want to force anything. That is, yeah, I'm impressed. Okay. All right, so this is the magic here. Let me move this off to the side. This is the magic. Now, Jack included some things that I don't know that I would run on my bench, but the cool factor is off the map. Because I do have these on my shot shell presses. And by these, what I mean is the case feeder counter, case counter, and there's a light here. So the stuff he's done, I mean, again, when you look at the differences, it's, again, uniqueparts.com, Australia. There's that lip I was talking about where this can't come up because this prevents it. And I think he said this is removable. Yeah, that just comes right out. Plus, he's got a taper on that. And there you can see the lip, hopefully. I mean, just the attention to detail. So this is what I meant about the design change. So originally, this steel tube was in back of here, and it was meant to be mounted on the back of the press, just like it is here. So what he did was he moved this over, he offset this to the left, so that you now have this steel pole that will hold this. I'm going to guess, actually it's probably like that. It's going to hold this. That's why that's like that. So that is why this one moves, probably to lock into this. The other thing that was very cool was, depending on your caliber, and I think he had a different caliber in here too, one for 9, one for 45. Yeah, this was 9mm. This would be the 9mm drop tube. But what makes this approach different than this approach is that in order to change calibers, you just have this insert, and this locks in and snaps in. I thought that was kind of cool. So the ability, and I will grab a battery here in a minute to show this off, in terms of you've got the counter, which as soon as we see this move back and forth, that's reset. And hopefully, unless it needs, it may need the battery to activate. Oh, there we go. So now you know exactly how many primers you're going through. All right, thank goodness for external batteries, because I had to take a break for a minute because I was running out of battery. Too many videos today. All right, so back to what I was talking about. In fact, I lost where I was at. But again, the stuff that Jack utilizes, Unique Part utilizes, by retaining this steel pole, and this is pretty robust in terms of its hardware. When you look at how the frame of the case feeder is wrapped around this, it's not that this isn't solid, this is wicked solid. And when you look at what he's done with the channel, how smooth it is, same thing with what others have done with the flywheels, and this is like a second or third generation flywheel. Again, what the pole then allows in terms of extra accessories for rigidity, this isn't going anywhere. And then when you mount it on the back of your press. Now, Jack did contact me and said that someone had said they had issues mounting because of their version of their lock and load. So I don't know if my version will have any issues with mounting, but we're going to find out. And again, back to some attention to detail. I think I talked about the counter. I don't know if reset needs to be held, or what. I'll have to play with that a little bit, but you can see that the case counter works, and there's an LED light in here as well. And I will plug that into my battery that is keeping our camera going at the moment. And there you have the light. Maybe I should turn off. There you have a light. Not that you're going to reload in the dark, but again, a great attention to detail. And when you look at how it's fed in and integrated into the system, let me make sure I pull the right cable, otherwise we'll be in the dark video wise. Just flat out rocking. Allen key nuts, looks like stainless steel. I would want everything in red just because I'm retentive like that, but that is a first look at the components and what this particular version of unique parts take on a case feeder can do. And this shell plate holder, just amazing. I was blown away when I saw this stuff on the video, and even more so. Yeah, trying to do this with the camera on right now is, I don't want to go back and look at Jack's video and see where this stuff mounts. If that snaps in here, snaps in here. And I want to say, again, when you look at, here's the feet, or the gears, so loosening this up to move it around, or pop it in place here and then pop it in on here. Yeah, we'll be spending a lot of time with this because I want to see how this, I mean, just very modular, very modular, just solid. I don't have, can't say enough about it at the moment. First impressions are pretty wicked. This is some amazing stuff right now. I would hope this get printed in red too. That would be so cool. If everything was this red, that would be pretty jamming. So first looks are mind-boggling, incredible, just amazing detail. I'll put the 9mm stuff away for now because my focus will be on 45 ACP. Again, just good stuff. Very good stuff. Not a single bad thing to say about it. This is just a different approach from a shop that does 3D printing and design as a business, and it's very apparent when you look at the offerings from Unique Parts in terms of a completely mechanical solution as opposed to the electronic versions of the ammo plants, which no surprise to you all, I'm not a fan of. So this is some really hot stuff, and I am looking forward to getting it on the press and seeing how it operates. And that will be another video in the very near future. So again, happy Father's Day, and we've done more videos and longer videos today than I can remember in a long time. So this will probably turn into a series of a few. Maybe I'll just do a mounting, installing series, and then a use series of how it all works out for me. So more to come.